Hello, good evening. It's Friday. It's the first day of the month of October 2021. It's a new month. Tonight on Market Avenue, we'll take a look at the Ghana Stock Exchange, the performance of both the equities and the bond market, which are both doing well. We also look at escalating fuel prices, which is threatening inflation and also increasing the cost of living in the country. As of today, a liter of fuel is selling at 52 pesos, and that is of concern to the driver on the street, and for that matter, the market woman who has to board that taxi to bring her goods from the market to her store. So we'll be looking at fuel prices, how that affects you, how it affects your economy, and for that matter, the Ghanaian economy. But before we do that, we will look at our business language for today. Welcome back. As I said, we'll be looking at the performance of the stock market. James Afo of CDH is my guest who will help us do the analysis for tonight. And the market indices closed the month of September with an increase in the Ghana Stock Exchange's Composite Index by 104.92 points. The Ghana Stock Exchange's Financial Stock Index also increased by 126.01 points. The market capitalization also increased by 125 to 126.58 Ghana cedis. Now we're doing 64.1 billion Ghana cedis by way of market capitalization. We'll be going much more detail into that particular report that was released by the Ghana Stock Exchange. But before we do that, let's look at how the Ghana Stock Exchange performed today. So, James Afo, you're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Market Avenue.
Thank you very much.
This is how the market looks like for today, yes, which is the closing of trading for the whole week. Yes. What drove the markets in this particular week, James?
Well, I think we've been experiencing upward trend in prices, meaning prices have been increasing, right, but because investors' appetites are now high, right, so people are rushing in to buy the stocks, and this development is actually affecting the performance positively. Right. For today, in all, two price changes were recorded, sure, the gainer and the loser, but then the gainer actually impacted positively the performance of the market. So all the indicators, though they increased marginally, but then they were positive. So I think today has been a good day.
So let's look at how the market started from Monday to now. So as a Monday, by way of market capitalization, we're doing 62.5 billion, and now we're doing 64.2 billion. I know MTN has been very much influential on the market, yes, but apart from this particular stock, which other stocks pushed market cap from 62 to 64 billion as we see?
We have EGL, the enterprise group, has been one of the best performing stocks that we have. Farmec has also been doing pretty well for the whole year. Car Bank is also a stock that is also doing well, right, and Société Générale. So these are the drivers of the market's performance that we witnessed for the week. All
right. So I think for the first time I saw this stock. It's actually lost for today, but as I said, it impacted the market, positively. That's Mega African Capital Markets. This is about the first time I see them, make some change on
yeah,
on the market.
It is not active. Well, in terms of trading, it has not been active on the market.
Right.
But I think the company is not doing bad at all. They are into investment, that is real estate and equity investments.
Right.
So it has to do with they doing a lot of publicity. Normally, companies are expected to come and do a fat behind the figures, whereby investors will be taken through the happenings, what has happened over the years, and the plans for the future. These are things that actually boost investor confidence. So they have not done it. That's why most of the stocks, their stock in particular, has not been active on the market. But I hope going forward they will be doing.
But I know some companies also just buy the stocks and then they hold them.
Well, it has to do with investment strategy.
Right.
It has to do with your appetite as well, and your investment horizon, the time frame that you have for yourself.
Right.
You know, stocks are basically long-term instruments. So what they do is that they buy, and as soon as the price appreciates, they'll sell to realize some gain.
Right.
So,
right. And then we see Fund Milk. Fund Milk has been very instrumental on the market. You know, from the beginning of the month till now. What's happening to this particular stock? Why are people chasing the Fund Milk stock?
Interestingly, Fund Milk was the worst performer for that of last year.
Right.
It declined in value by 80% plus. It fell to 1 CD, some pesos. So people took advantage to buy. Right. And in trading, we have something known as resistance and support. The general notion in investment is that investors are advised to purchase the instruments when the prices are low, and again advised to sell when they are high. So what is happening to Farm Milk is that the all-time price for that instrument was at 20 Ghana cedis, and it fell to 1 CD and some pesos. So people are now taking advantage to buy, and those investors who actually bought them are also holding on to the stock, because opposing purchasing an instrument at, let's say, 10 Ghana cedis, and the price has declined to 1. Why would you be in a hurry to sell? If you sell, you may end up losing a lot. So people are holding on to that, and people are also looking forward to buy. So the sellers are able to bargain for higher prices. So gradually, the instrument price is coming up, because it's very scarce to even get to buy on the market.
All right. So actually today we're going to be looking at the performance of the stock market for the month of September. How did the market fare in this particular month, the previous month?
Month of October for September was very good, if indeed you compare to that of August. In all, 14 price changes were recorded, and 12 were gainers and 2 laggers. And Farm Milk was the best performer. The stock appreciated by more than 100%. So I think the month of September was good. And also all the indicators were positive. For instance, the year-to-day return, which basically measured the performance of the market from January to they appreciated in value by 12.9%. The composite index also hinged up by 3.8%, and the market capitalization also went up by 2%. So I think the month of September was indeed a good month.
Right, right. And which stocks again were the drivers?
The drivers were, you know, we have 12 price gainers. Right. So Benz Oil Plantation, that stock appreciated in value by 13.9%. Then we have the Car Bank, also went up by 2.78. EGH, the Bank Ghana, also went up by 6.40. Then EGL, 12%. Farm Milk, as I indicated earlier on, 101%. Then we have Goil, also went up by 9.6.
Sure.
Then Societe Generale went up by 1%. Standard Chartered, 10%. So these are the drivers. These are the stocks that actually contributed to the positive development that we've witnessed for the month of September.
All right, and based on that, are we likely to see the same, you know, performance maintained?
Yes.
For the month of
October? Bid and offer dynamics. Right. Normally, we look at the trend, what is happening in terms of those who are buying and those selling. The appetite is still there. People are still looking up. Yes, they are looking for those stocks to buy. So, per what we have, we anticipate the market to even perform better than what we are witnessing.
Right.
We are in for a good run for the year.
Right. What is driving this particular appetite? Are people moving to the equities market and the bonds market, which we'll talk about as well?
Well, it has to do with the liquidity of the market. Right. Is this a market whereby you can easily sell or buy an instrument? Because normally we do investment with the hope of reaping in some returns. So even if dividends are not paid, at least you should be able to sell and would get some gains. And this is what's happening. Because it can easily trade on the market. So investors are actually taking advantage. And also, I think the financial sector build-up has also contributed a lot. The confidence level in general has also gone up. Right. And the COVID pandemic, indeed, last year was it's affected the market badly. Income level dropped drastically because of the pandemic. Businesses collapsed and here and there. Now things have started normalizing, economic activities are going on. So people have extra money to buy some of these instruments, and that's the main driver of what we are witnessing. So people are actually investing in equity and fixed income.
So the pandemic actually impacted positively on the Ghana Stock Exchange. So people who didn't have income now were turning attention to selling their equities and
last year
some
it affected the market negatively
last year.
Sure. But this year, because of the recoveries, basically because of the vaccination and other things that we've been put in place, businesses are booming, people income level has started appreciating the value, and they are now patronizing the instruments.
Is this the right time to buy some shares?
This is the right time. This is the right time.
But we're seeing prices going up. MTN, for instance, came onto the market 70 pesos per share. Now they want to see the 20 pesos thereabout. So now it's become expensive now.
MTN is a good stock. The company itself is well known in terms of profitability, and consistently they've been paying dividends. So the appetite for it is very high, and it is very liquid. It can easily be sold and can be bought. If you could remember, last week it fell by in value from 1 peso to 12 pesos, and it has risen again just within some weeks. So it tells you how good the stock is.
Right. The last time you were telling me about how the attention is shifting also to the bonds market, and you're even advising that we buy some bonds there. What exactly is pushing this appetite for bonds, especially for the government bonds?
Formerly, there wasn't anything like a secondary market, like a stock where you can buy and sell. It was purely at the primary issuance. So when it's issued and you buy, you hold it until it matures. But now, Ghana Fixed Income Market has been set up. It's in collaboration with Ghana Stock Exchange and Bank of Ghana. So these instruments are currently traded. The bond that has been issued, you can buy a bond for, let's say, 20 years. But along the line, if you are in need of money, you can decide to dispose it of. And investors are ever ready. Both Ghanaians and those outside the country. And we're also trading on Bloomberg. So it makes it very, very easy for people. And that's where people are also taking advantage. And because it's fixed income, indeed, no matter what happens, you get your money back. That's the principal and interest. So it is something that is always there. There's no need for you to panic in terms of maybe price declining in value or whatever.
All right. And then when you look at the September report, we realize that the long-term instruments are dominating. Is it an indication that corporate entities are beginning to understand that, if you want capital for investment, you must go to the stock exchange and maybe not go to the banks? Are we beginning to see that point where companies are running to the bonds market instead of going to the banks?
Yeah, this is how an economy must run. Indeed, every economy must develop. Development of every economy depends on how strong your capital market is. So most often, when interest rates are high, it tends to distort the performance of both the capital markets and the bond market. So what is happening is that most of these fund management companies are patronizing long-term instruments because the yield on them are very good. So it is basically driven by that, and individuals who also want to realize some gains because of the rates being promised on the instrument are purchasing. And as I indicated earlier on, it could be that you've purchased 20-year-old bond, but you can't hold it. If indeed you want to sell it within a year, there's another avenue for you to sell as well.
Is it also because the banks are holding lending, they are curtailing lending to the private sector, and so now people are
attention has been shifted. Yes, I read a report yesterday whereby it was indicated that banks' holdings in the bonds that are issued by government is around 50%. So it tells you the opportunity cost for lending is not very high because lending rate is around 21%, and with the same money you can get fixed income instrument at 19, the margin of just 2, and this one has it free. No matter what happens, you rest assured of getting your money back. So why would you even lend to a business where you are not
selling this COVID-19 with the risk and all that?
So banks have also invested heavily in some of these instruments, and these are the drivers of the performance that we have.
So we're wrapping up on this conversation, but a lot of the questions my friends will ask is how do we get onto the stock market? How do we buy shares, buy the bonds and all that? If I want to buy MTN shares or any other share, how do I do it?
Well, we have a lot of brokerage house, and once I'm from CDH, and I will recommend my company to you. We have a trading desk. So whatever instrument that you want to buy from the fixed income market or from the stock market, we are ever ready to help you. Because we are in a system, and we know when the issuance are made. We can even buy it for you at the auction. So whereby you may be able to get higher interest rates. And for the stock, we are always there. We have been collaborating with them as well as you. So whenever you call us, we will assist you to buy whatever instrument that really.
All right, thank you very much. James Affle is with CDH, and we'll go for a short break. When we come back, we'll be talking about fuel prices. Duncan Amwan of COPEC will join us soon.
In the month of October, GBC News is offering its news platform to you, our viewers, to try your hands at citizen journalism. We've toured the country and brought you news reports from all spheres. Now, it's your turn to show us your prowess by telling us stories from your localities. You've seen us on the field. Now, pick up your tools and hit the trail with your cameras and capture the issues of concern around you. You can go all out, full measure, shaking together and running over. Send your videos to us on WhatsApp numbers 026 4000 996 or 026 4000 997. We will air your story in our news bulletins, giving you credit for your effort. Don't be left out of our October special. It's GBC News, your news and governance channel.
Welcome back. You're still watching Market Avenue. We're live on Facebook at Ghana Broadcasting Corporation. We talk about fuel prices, which keep going up at the pump. As we speak, a liter of fuel is going for 6 cedis, 25 pesos at the pump. We've been joined by Bismarck Osei. He is an economist. He will join us with some analysis on how we can, prevent or kind of halt the rate at which the fuel prices are going up. Good evening to you, Bismarck.
Yeah, good evening.
Right, so it does appear that all the indices that will push fuel prices up, are all, they keep going up. So we see the price of crude oil going up. We're doing now $80 per barrel. We're seeing the cedi depreciating and all that. How do we ensure that in this time where the cost of living keeps going up, we are able to have a hold on the price of fuel? Bismarck.
Okay, thank you so much. Unpleasant development that is going on, and one of the things some of us we have been asking ourselves, we produce some amount of petroleum products. How come we have to also import so much? Because if we are buying from these value and those companies, these financial effects of these indexes, I think it would have reduced. And also, We also, what we can also do more is making sure that these are sitting within international reserves is being it's increased over the period so that we can stabilize the currency. Because most of these BDCs and OMCs that go and buy this product, they use this currency. So ability to increase these international reserves and stabilize the currency in a way also give some sort of relief to the average Ghanaians. They will not have that breaking effect on them so much.
Right. So at the bottom of what we're seeing is a deregulation policy, which was supposed to introduce some kind of competition among the oil marketing companies, so that when you go to Goil, the price may be different from Shell or from Total. But it looks like, you know, we're not seeing that kind of competition by way of price. Will you say that the deregulation policy has not really served its purpose of introducing competition and therefore must be taken a second look at?
Okay, thank you so much. I think the idea of the deregulation was to be able to give us some sort of cushion, but if it's not giving us that result, by in effect it's giving us some sort of financial effect. And there's nothing wrong going back to deregulate. Can we find out the time we're not deregulating, the time we're deregulating, which is better? If it's not good, let's just suppose the two regimes. When it was deregulated, which one is giving us a very good result? So we can go back. If there's a need for us to see the best regime, we just suppose the difference from the outcome, then we can see whether they need to go back. To me, I think the regulation, if you compare the deregulation with that of the regulated system, the regulated system was better than this. So we can go back so that it can be a sort of a cushion for every Ghanaian.
Right, and so the regulation scheme also results in debts. I mean, government has to subsidize, pay for the difference between what they are paying for the ordinary Ghanaian, which results in high debts on the books of the country. You should also consider that.
Of course. I think deregulation, we can have a deregulation where government will not subsidize. Let me tell you, you can regulate these prices without government subsidizing. Let me tell you, for instance, public transport, for instance, we regulate the price, it's not true. Public transport, anytime the fuel price goes up, government has to sit down with these people and they fix the new price without government subsidizing for anyone. So we can sit and think around it. Maybe there must be a way out. Can we regulate without subsidizing so that the price will be more moderate for the average Ghanaian? So let's see, maybe we can find a way out that can set a village and ensuring that we regulate without government subsidizing. I think there'll be a way out.
All right. So one of the indices is the city, the state of the city, the depreciation of the city. We're seeing some funds coming from Cocoa Board, 1.5 billion. Maybe next week it should hit the account of Cocoa Board. We've also received some proceeds from the 1 billion special drawing right from the IMF. Are we likely to see the city, you know, seeing some stability in the weeks or months ahead, therefore helping the situation of bringing down fuel prices, Bismarck?
Okay, thank you. I think these two things you spoke about, the SDR has already hit the account, and the cocoa syndicated loan is supposed to hit. And I think when this money hits the account, the cocoa syndicated loan hit the account, I think it's going to help maintain a level of international reserves so that the central bank can enter into the forward exchange and also more currencies for people. So to me, if we have these things, I think it will be quite for people to help like the currency a bit and also give us a cushion so that these issue of work price also we can have some cushion a bit.
Right. This will be a temporal measure. You are an economist. How do we deal with this situation, maybe permanently, more permanently, once and for all?
Once and for all, one of the things I think as going forward as a country we should do, these oils and these gold we mine in the country. Well, the point is, what is the Ghana's participating interest in these oil and gold? What do we gain from them, right? How much money do we gain from this oil? If we go to Botswana, if we go to Nigeria, we have about 55 to 51% participating interest in this oil. Ghana has like 15%. So even some of the revenues we get from these are too low. If you are having enough revenue from these oil and minerals we exploit, that money would have been used to cushion the international reserve, stabilize the currency. So even if you want to import some of these things, we would have enough international reserves to cushion the currency to make the price a little bit still for us. Going for it, I think these are things, these are palpable facts. We have to look at it and how they're going to make sure we're not going to sit down and say that being oil and gas, we are going to just take royalties and corporate taxes. You're going to have joint venture with these companies that come so that we can have a higher subsidy interest. We get revenue to boost our reserves so that even if we are importing, it will be cushion, it will be okay for us.
Right.
Hello.
Right. So I think we have to end it here. I know you are not into the crude oil space, but from where you're talking to us from, do you foresee a possible increase in fuel prices, maybe in the next pricing window, based on the indices that we're seeing?
The indices we are having, see that these things are very volatile. Oil prices and all those things are very volatile over the period. You see that, and one of the things Ghana have done very well when it comes to public transport, even if it's supposed to go up, the public those who use public transport, we know that this are being controlled by government. Sometimes it goes up, by those who use public transport doesn't go up. So even though that one, it's only those who use for commercial, use it for personal, and those things, maybe government have to see how some cushion. Those who rate the government, the minimum wage, government is 4%. I think 4% is very positive. If government, it goes up to much, it cannot be managed. Government maybe have to consider this minimum wage. It's something reasonable to push in them. I think that's, in a way, that's how maybe we can deal with that the short term. But let's hope that it's very volatile. Maybe in the next 2 weeks, the spot maybe might have come down, and the life will be a cushion to everybody.
All right, thank you very much. Bismarck Osei is an economist. There, we've been talking about escalating fuel prices and how it affects the domestic economy, especially. This is how we wrap up Market Avenue on GBC News. We are live on Facebook at Ghana Broadcasting Corporation. My name is Maurice Bitte. See you on Monday, God willing. Bye.